Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are gonna be sowing some onion seeds. I'm using Walla Walla onions because this is one of the onions that I really love. It's nice and sweet and it's very large, easy to chop up. That's my thing about onions. I don't like onions that are really too small and gives you too much difficulty peeling or chopping it up. We already don't like, well, I can speak for myself. I already dislike the fact of cutting up onions because it makes me very teary. So if the onions are very large, it makes it so much easier. So that's something that I really do like about these onions, and that is what I'm going to be sowing today. Based upon my knowledge of sowing onion seeds, if it's something that you normally do or something that you would like to do, now is the time to start it. Now, typically you start onion seeds 8 to 10 weeks before your average frost date, last frost date. And my last frost date is sometime in April, but it's early April. So I am sowing my seeds now so that I can get those sets perfectly to put it out at least 2 or 3 weeks before my last frost date. Onion sets can take a little bit of frost outside when you plant it out there. So typically it's not something that you would have to worry about if you get a frost once you put it out there. Okay, you can plant it. That's what I normally do. I would plant my onion sets that I purchased from the store. I would put that in the ground before my last frost date. So, and it turns out pretty good. It turns out really good. Last year, I can't remember how much onions I got. I got some, but I didn't get a lot of it because I have animals in my yard that digs up stuff. And that is one of the stuff that they kind of mess with. So I don't typically remember how many onions I got last year. But yes, you can put it out 2 or 3 weeks before your last frost date and they will still be fine. Okay? Providing you don't get the problems that I'm getting with the animals digging. So again, I'm going to mention I've never planted or sowed the seeds for Walla Walla onions before. I've normally used the bulb or the onion sets that you would purchase from the store. So I don't know which route you guys go, but this is the route that I'm trying out this year for the first time. Okay. Typically, those are the 3 ways you can do onions: by the sets that you can purchase from the store, the bulbs that you also can get from the store, and the seeds. So I'm going to give this a shot. Okay. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, when you go to the store, the onions that you normally see is red, white, or yellow onions. That is it. Those are the choice they give you in a little set, and you pick that up and you bring it home and you plant it. There's not too many choices. So if you want a choice in the onions that you actually prefer to put in the ground, the seeds would be the route you want to go. You want to get the seeds so you can sow them now in January, the end of January, in order to get the sets that you need to put in the ground in mid-April or maybe the beginning of April. I normally do, like I said, 2 to 3 weeks before my last frost date. So that's how I go. Anyway, I know I mentioned, and I keep mentioning it, these are not, I've never done this before, so I'm going to be really careful and cautious with planting these. So what I'm going to do is read the back, all the steps and instructions they give you on the back of this packet, and that's what I'm going to follow. So what I had to do is take a picture with my phone at the back of this packet in order to read it properly because it's so small. Okay, start indoor 8 to 10 weeks before transplanting outdoor. When transplanting, clip the plant 3 inches and then plant 2 inches deep. Or you can directly sow outside once the soil is able to be worked, which basically is what you do with the onion sets or the pieces that you get from the store. Okay? harvest by pulling bulbs when the top of the plant is completely brown. Well, that's basically up to your harvesting point, which is what we do with all our onions. Once that foliage dies back and it gets brown and fall to the ground, that's basically when we know the bulb is ready. Some of us, well, sometimes I just pull the onion. If I need it, I pull the onion and use it before the foliage even fall to the ground. Okay, but that's basic instructions that they're giving you before, after, and when you need to harvest, or before, in the middle, and when you need to harvest. Days to germination. Once I sow the seeds, days to germination is 10 to 12 days. So if you trying to germinate seeds, don't be going and looking at it every 5 and 6 days, and if you don't see nothing, you get worried. You know, give the seed some time in order for it to germinate. Okay, plant in depth 1/2 inch. So I'm going to sow the seed 1/2 inch deep. Days to harvest 115 days, which is just over what, 3 months, 90, we'll just say just before 4 months. Okay, and you're gonna space the onions, so they give you it kind of, yeah, just the way they put it on the seed packet. That's how I'm reading it. So spacing rows to plant, you're gonna space them 18 inches apart because you want to give each bulb a little bit of space in order for them to develop, get that nice big onion. Yep. All right, so that's what's on the packet. I kind of read the packet as though I'm trying to really teach you something, and I'm sure you guys already know how to sow these seeds if you've been doing it for a long time. But for you guys that don't know, that's the route that I'm going, and I'm trying to be really careful, really cautious in how I'm doing it because I've never done it before. Okay, so just bear with me. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get my my seed starting mix. I'm gonna put it in my bucket, give it a nice wet, and then put it in a tray, and then we're gonna sow these seeds. Okay, let's do that. So I got my seed starting mix, and I got it with just enough moisture so you can see the water, you know, comes out of it. And what I'm gonna do is put this in the tray. Now, normally I didn't use the wet mines before I put it in the tray, but I find that I've seen other YouTubers do it, and it helps a lot better versus the way I used to do it. So what I did was pour the soil into the tray just like this, and then I would wet it after I finished doing it. Now that tends to shift the seed, but in this case, when you wet it, once you put the seeds in there, it's like it's in there. You know what I mean? So it's so much better if you wet it before you put it in your tray. Okay? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to fill up this tray, these cells, and I'm going to make sure that it's in there really good. And then I'm going to make holes for my seeds. If I need more mixture, I'm going to mix up a little bit more, which it already looks like I need a little bit more. This is looking really good right now. I'm gonna get a little bit more mixture so I can finish up this. Okay, so I've got my cells together with my seed starter mix. This is a 40 cell tray. What I'm gonna do now is for my seeds, I'm gonna use this to just basically make my little holes and drop the seeds. As you can see, these seeds are really, really tiny. Let me show you that. And they're black seeds, so it's kind of like, see that? So when you drop these seeds in here, it's gonna be a little tough. Now, let's see. I'm trying to pack the soil just in the cell so that it's not like spilling over to each other. All right, let's see. I'm gonna do 1, 2. Let's see if we could drop 1, 2. Or I can do 3, 4. So I could even drop 4 seeds to 1 cell. And if I get 1 or 2 germination from just 1 cell, I am still okay. So in some cells, I'm gonna drop like 4, and in some cells, I'm gonna just drop 2 or 3. The goal here, and if you notice, as I do this, because it's not compacted, like fully compacted, the soil is kind of going down in the tray. So you really want to make sure that the tray itself is compacted when you fill it up, because then you're going to end up doing like this. You're going to end up having to push it down properly and then add more soil to the top. I can still add a little bit of more soil to the top here. And that's why I say maybe some cells I'm going to drop about 2 seeds. And then some that is very compacted, I can drop a little bit more. If you ever planted Walla Walla onions before, I guess you can give me a little bit of tips in the bottom in my comments. You know, what you did, how did you protect them? Because again, I have animals that dig in my yard, so this year it's like I'm gonna be on like the hunt to make sure that I really get my onions. And normally, when you have rabbits and groundhogs and stuff, they don't really eat the onions, but because they destroy the seedlings or they destroy the root system, that's what messes with the plant. It's not necessarily that they're eating the item that you plant, the vegetable or so. Is more than likely they disrupt the seedlings or the root system, and then you don't get anything, or you get a little bit of, you know, what you actually germinated. So I know that in some of these cells I'm gonna get germination, and some I may not get any germination, and that's okay. It doesn't matter to me if I get 100. If I get 15 germination from the seeds that I put in here, I am going to be grateful and happy with that. Okay? Because that means I will still have some onion sets to put out there. Now you see these, you see some of the cells, like this one, how it's kind of like dropping once I put this inside of it. Now these are the cells that I'm going to need to actually just put a little bit more soil. So what I'm going to do for some of these that, you know, doesn't look too full, I'm going to just drop the seed on top instead of putting it that 1/2 inch. Because that means when I packed a little bit more soil, it's going to be covered, right? I feel like some of these, I feel like some of the cells are going to get more germination than some. And again, you see, look at this. By the time I push it down, it's down And so now this here needs some more soil, so more. So I'm just gonna add the seed to the top. Seeds are so small. Okay guys, so I am through with sowing these seeds. Again, I have 40 cells here, and each cell have about 4 or 3 seeds in them. So this is a lot of onions for me. Okay, what I did, I put a plant tag in here just to remind myself that I planted Walla Walla onions, and I put the date on it as well, which today is January 21st. Okay, that's just a reminder for me that this is the day I planted, and I'm gonna hold on to this packet. So because I put the date on here, the pack, exactly what the packet is saying, when is like in 10 to 12 days I will have germination. That's what I'm going to be looking for. So sometimes the packets say 10 to 12 days. You will see germination before that 10 to 12 days based on maybe the light that you put it under, or how much sunlight and water and everything that it's getting, all its nutrients and stuff. Once all of this germinate for me. So although again it says 10 to 12 days, I may see germination before that. If I see germination before that, that's going to be great. If I see germination around that time or after that time, that is still okay. What I'm going to do, once it germinates, I'm going to make sure it's getting its consistent lighting, water, and I'm also going to use some sort of fertilizer to keep these seedlings going. And once all that is happening, by the beginning of March, what I'm going to do is pinch them back again before I put them outside, which is what the packet is telling me to do. All right, so that is it for sowing my Walla Walla onion seeds. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was kind of long with all my explanation, but sometimes based on what you read about something, you want to give all the explanation possible to help somebody else out there, but also for your future you. Because as you get older, you forget about some things, how you're supposed to do some things. So I can easily go back to my own video and check out and see what I did or didn't do, what I can do better. It's making all of this for me as well, okay? It's helping you and it's helping me. All right? Hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys get a chance to do something amazing, something beautiful, and I will catch you all in my next video. Bye for now.